Thank you very much, Nematali. So as we understood, from this diagram, that a person who is trying to chase a treasure, similarly, every living entity in this world is trying to chase a pleasure, some pleasure or other, the mallow. For example, in relationships, what we are driving out of our relationships with mother, father, relatives, friends, even an employer even with the employer, we are trying to find some mallow, some pleasure. All of us are working towards that only. Even an ant on the road, when you see moving, the ant is moving to find some food, so it can derive some pleasure out of that, right? So all the living entities in the world are trying to achieve some pleasure, some rasa, some mallow. The problem is that they don't know that Krishna is that rasa that they are looking for. Krishna is known as Rasa Raja. He is the king of all mallows. So if he is known as the king of all mallows, it means whoever will achieve Krishna, their search for pleasure will end. That's what they are looking for. That's why other than Krishna, whatever we get, we are never satisfied, because we don't know that we are actually looking for Krishna. So as a Bhagavad Gita reader, we actually get to know little bit about that there is the pleasure, there is Krishna that we are all trying to achieve. So when we start our journey, in chapter 2, you will see that we get lot of information about Krishna, about us, about nature, everything. Now with this lot of information that we get little confused what to do. Like Arjuna, in the 3rd chapter, he starts asking, like, you are giving me a lot of information, I don't know what to do. Then Krishna says, no problem, you do your duty, Karma Yoga. The third chapter is entitled as Karma Yoga, which means we get some information of the root. Then the 4th chapter, we get to know about some transcendental knowledge that, okay, this is God, some information about pleasure, the treasure of Krishna. And then the 5th chapter, we know, okay, you follow the route, the Karma Yoga, but with knowledge of the treasure, knowledge of the pleasure, knowledge of Krishna, which is entitled as action in Krishna consciousness, but with full focus, the Dhyan Yoga, the 6th chapter, right? So when we are, and then we further progress, then in the 7th chapter, we get to know the knowledge of the absolute, that, oh, okay, that is Krishna. Krishna is the main person. The absolute truth is Krishna. We get to know in the 2nd chapter. A lot more things about Krishna we get to know. But in the 8th chapter, we get to know the box. What is that box? Relationship. That Krishna is the absolute truth. We are part and parcel. But Krishna, if we want to achieve Krishna, we'll have to develop the relationship with him. That's the box that he is residing in, right? But then what is the key to open that box? That we get to know in the 9th chapter. Then Krishna tells, Man manaman madbhaktu, madhyajimam namaskuru. Krishna says that is the key. You pay obeisances to me, always think of me, worship me, offer everything to me. That is the key to attain Krishna. That pleasure that everybody is looking for. You see, big saints, they don't have anything materially, but they are always happy. Why? Because they have taken hold of Rasraj, Krishna. So once we know in the 9th chapter, that is why is entitled as most confidential knowledge. You see, the person A who is starting this journey get to know the key. He got the most confidential information. He got the key of the treasure. Similarly, the one who is on the spiritual path, in the 9th chapter, he get the most confidential knowledge. What is that? Man manavad bhadbhakto, that there is absolute truth. And to get that absolute truth, the key is man manavad bhadbhakto. To always think of Krishna, over everything to him, worship him, chant his holy name, discuss about him and everything like this. But how to get hold of that key? What vehicle we use to go, so we get to hold of, we get to know of that key, we get hold of that key, and then we can attain Krishna. So that vehicle is the 10th chapter that we are going to discuss today, which is entitled as Opulence of the Absolute. Is there a question so far? This is just an introduction. I thought I just set some background so we get some idea about it. So let's proceed to our discussion today. So in this chapter, we have like every other time, we have divided it into 4 sections. So one is source of everything. So basically, in the first 7 shlokas, Krishna is going to tell that everything emanates from him. And what everything, that we will discuss in these 5-7 shlokas. Then these are very important shlokas actually. The next 4 shlokas, 8, 9, 10, 11. You will not believe these 4 shlokas are actually the essence of Bhagavad Gita. Some of you must have heard about Chatur Shloki Bhagavad Gita. Chatur Shloki. Chatur means 4. Shlok means text that we are reading, you know. So these 4 shloks are actually the essence of whole Bhagavad Gita. Whole Bhagavad Gita, the essence are in these 4 shlokas. That is why we are saying essence of Bhagavad Gita. This is Chatur Shloki Bhagavad Gita. If anyone has firmly understand these 4 shlokas, then he understands the whole Bhagavad Gita. And then we'll understand further shlokas that Arjuna is reciting for Krishna. Actually, Arjuna gets really excited to more know about Krishna. Until then, he was just asking questions only. Oh, I'm confused. Tell me this. Tell me that. He was specifically asking what is that and how is it. But in this, he will actually say, please tell me more. He gets really excited. And then in the next 20 shloka, Krishna will explain more about him. So we'll discuss that in next 22 shlokas. So let's discuss this. The first shloka of this chapter is this. Shri Bhagavan Vacha Bhuya eva Mahabaho Shranu me Paramam Vacha Yatte Ham Piryamanaye Vakshami Hit Kamyaya. Krishna says, the Supreme Personality of Godhead said, listen again, O mighty Arjuna, because you are my dear friend, for your benefit, I shall speak to you further, giving knowledge that is better than I have already explained. So you see the first word here is Shri Bhagavan Uvacha, and we have been hearing this word multiple times. So which means Sanjay, who is narrating this Bhagavad Gita to Dhritarashtra, he is well aware of Krishna's position. That is why every time when Krishna is saying something, he is saying Shri Bhagavan Uvacha, which means he knows that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. You know, in this world, many people say many things about many other personalities. And in them, some of them will say, oh, he is our God. Like many people go to Shirdi, they will worship some person. Many people will go to some other place, will worship some other person. Why this is happening? Because we don't know the definition who is God. For example, today if I will go some magic, some people on the road, they will say, oh, this personality Ashwini Kumar Das, he is God. Why? Because he is showing us some magic. So they have their preconception who is God. That is why it is happening. That is why we have been reading what is conditioned life. In conditioned life, someone made some conception about something that this is what it is. For example, I remember one of lot of my friends from Bihar, what they will say that whole purpose of life is to get a government job in Indian government, like become an IAS officer. That is the ultimate goal. Similarly, in the origin where I come from, people believe that just to have become a big businessman is the ultimate goal of life. You see, a soul is taking birth in Bihar, a soul is taking birth in northern part of India. The one who is taking northern part of India, he made this conception because of his conditioning, the environment he took birth in, that the ultimate goal of life is to become businessman. Similarly, the one who is taken birth in the other place of India, his ultimate goal of life is to become government officer. Why it is happening? Because of the conditioning, because of the environment they have entered in. Similarly, when it comes to spirituality, people made their own conception about who is God, what they should be doing, what they should not be doing, like that. But because no one knows what the scriptures are saying, no one understands who is God and what is God and how we should be serving him. That is why Parashar Muni was very intelligent. He clearly stated this definition. He's having a discussion, and this definition comes into Vishnu Purana to clearly state who is God. Aishwarya Samaragrasya. So it says Aishwarasya Samragrasya Viryasya Yashasya Shriya means Lakshmi, Shriyasya Jnana Vairagyasya Sannam Bhag Itangana Bhag. So why it is saying Bhag? You see, when you say Gyanvan, the one who possesses Gyan, knowledge, is known as Gyanvan. The one who possesses intelligence is known as Buddhivan. The one who possesses um, uh, Vairag. So similarly, the Van word is attached with the possessment, possessing. If you possessing something, that becomes Van, Gyanvan, Buddhivan. Similarly, when we say Bhagwan, it means if you know who is, what is the meaning of Bhag, and the one who possessing Bhag will be called as Bhagwan. So here Parashar Muni is defining what is Bhag. So he's saying Bhag means these six opulences. He's saying full strength, all fame, all wealth. For example, no matter how wealthy a person is, he cannot say that I own all the wealth of this world. No one can say this. He can say I am the richest person of this world. Richest in the sense relatively I have more money. But he cannot say I own all the money of this world. No one can say this. Even the biggest country of this world cannot say I own the wealth of the entire world. But Krishna can say that because everything is coming from him. So similarly, he all knowledge, all beauty, all realization. That person is Bhag. Now Krishna has all these such qualities. That is why you will see he is addressed as Bhagavan, whole Bhagavad Gita. So this point should be very clearly understand in this chapter because it is we are understanding the opulence of Krishna. That is why we discussed it here again that Shri Krishna is Bhagavan, the supreme personality of Godhead. Why he is Bhagavan? Because he is possessing the six opulences. The one who possesses the six opulences, he is known as Bhaga, and because he's the one who has six opulences is known as Bhagwan. Now he's saying Bhuya e Mahabaho. Mahabaho means the one who has great arms, who is most powerful, and Arjuna is a great personality. He has more power, so his Mahabaho is addressing him. And Shrunu is a good word here. Shrunu means listen, and then Krishna is saying listen again. So that's the so when we approach senior devotees who have more knowledge, that's what we do actually. we always listen. We know, okay, he's our senior, we listen him. And these are the exchanges, devotee exchanges that we have by which we get this knowledge. For example, you see Bhagavatam, Sukadeva Goswami is speaking, and who is listening? Parikshit Maharaj. Parikshit Maharaj is listening. So Shrunu is there. Similarly, here you see Krishna is speaking and who is listening? Arjuna is listening. But here Krishna is explicitly saying Shrunu. Why? Because it is an important information that Krishna is going to say. For example, in our discussion also, sometimes we say, hey, listen, which means you are going to tell something very important. That's why you are emphasizing it more, that listen. Right? And then here Krishna is saying, listen. Why? Because this chapter is very, very important. Krishna is going to give really important information. So in the beginning itself, Krishna is saying to Arjuna, Shrunu. Shrunu, which means attentively you listen because I'm going to give you very important information here. You see, some devotees ask that, okay, with seniors, we have this exchange that listen and silent are spelled with same alphabets. Yeah. So similarly, some devotees ask that that okay, with seniors we have this exchange that okay, we have to listen, but how do we deal with our peers, the same group that is starting bhakti together? So in that we have exchanges with love. So with senior we have exchanges with respect. Respect means we listen. With peers we have exchanges with love. Love means we also share, we also listen, both ways. And how do we deal with juniors? We deal with compassion. So because of Krishna's mercy, we get to enter into spiritual life earlier than some other person who is coming later. So we have very great compassion for him, and we try to share this knowledge with him out of compassion, not out of authority, but out of compassion. So this is Shrunu. Shrunu means listen, because Krishna is going to give very important information here. And why he is giving this information? Hit Kamyaya. Hit Kamyaya. Hit Kamya means he is giving this information because of Arjuna's hit. And through Arjuna, all of our hit. Hit means for the benefit. He is here, you see, saying for your benefit. Krishna is saying, I'm going to give this information hit kameya, for your benefit. So let's see what is this information Krishna is giving. So Krishna says, Name Vidu Surgana Prabhavam na Maharshaya Ahmadi Devanam Maharshinam cha Sarvasha. Krishna says, neither the host of demigods nor the great sages know my origin or opulences, for in every respect I am the source of the demigods and sages. See, he is not even, Krishna is not even speaking the people of this world where we are living. He is speaking about the people of heavenly planets. Even we don't have access of them, but Krishna is saying even they don't know about me. Even demigods, they don't know about me. And we have seen this in many past times. You saw in this picture, you see Brahma is there, and when he comes to Vrindavan, he sees that Krishna is sitting with his cowherd boys, his cowherd friends, and they are having lunch together. And one of the friend will taste something and say, Krishna, this is very sweet. I just tasted it. You also have it. And Krishna will, snatch that food stuff from his hand, will have it, and then someone else will feed Krishna. So Brahma got really bewildered. He was like, my dear, oh my God, this is absolute truth? No, how come absolute truth is sitting like a normal person among these cowherd boys? And then what did he do? He got bewildered. So Brahma is one of the demigod, but he got bewildered. He also got bewildered. Krishna's Maya is so strong, so he also thought of testing Krishna. So there's a whole Brahma Vimohan Leela that we read in Krishna book. And then eventually what happens? He has to beg from Krishna. You see in this picture, with the folded hands, he is asking forgiveness from Krishna. He's saying, my dear Lord, I am so sorry. I completely got bewildered. I could not understand your personality. So I beg forgiveness. And the same thing Krishna is telling here. Krishna is saying, host of demigods or the great sages, they also get bewildered. Who am I? See, in this book, we read in this book, Narad Upanishad. We read this Upanishad says that Narad Brahma Jayate. Sorry, Narayanad Brahma Jayate. Then it says Narayanad Prajapati Prajayate. What is Jayate? Jayate means Janam, birth. So this literature, this Upanishad says Narayanad Brahma Jayate. So Brahma comes from Narayan. Then it says Narayanad Prajapati Prajayate, which means Prajapati. He also comes from Narayan. Then he says Narayanad Indro Jayate, which means the head of the demigods, Indra. Indra also comes from Narayan. Then he says Narayanad Astu Vasayu Jayate, which means all the Vasus, they also come from Narayan. Then Narayanad Ekadasha Rudra Jayate, Rudra, even Shiva also comes from Narayan. And Narayana Dwadashatya Jayate, which means all the 12 Adityas, they also come from Narayan. And then this says this Narayan is an expansion of Krishna. Brahmayo Devaki Putra. It says that Narayan is the expansion of Krishna, that Krishna who is the son of Devaki. So that is Krishna. This Narayan Upanishad clearly states that all you see in this material world, people are worshipping this person, that person, all of them are coming from Narayan. And who is Narayan? Narayan is an expansion of Krishna, which means he is the supreme personality of God and he is none other than Krishna. So Krishna himself expands as Narayan, and Narayan is the cause of all this material manifestation. That's what Krishna is explaining. Yeah. And not only that, like Krishna is not only the expansion of the living entities, he is also expanding matter, the material universe also. Everything is coming from him. Then you see what is the position of devotees, because they know you, Krishna. Someone can say, okay, Krishna, these demigods, these sages, they don't know you, but devotees know you. Then how do you deal with them? What happens with them? Devotees know your position. Then Krishna says, Yo mam ajam nadinam chaveti lok maheshwaram asammudha samarteshu sarva pape pramuchyate. Krishna says, he who knows me as the unborn. So when he says he is actually saying devotees, because only devotees know who is Krishna. No one else know. Krishna is saying even demigods don't know. Even great sages, they don't know. On the lovers of Krishna, they know. So he says, he who knows me as unborn, ajanma. Krishna is saying, Mam ajam. So A is silent here. Mam ajam nadi. Adi means he has no beginning, is beginless. So Krishna says, know me as unborn, as beginless, as the supreme lord of all the worlds. Sarvaloka Maheshwaram. He only undiluted among men. Undiluted. Samuda means diluted, and with a attached to it, asamuda means undiluted. So he's saying that person is not bewildered, he is not deluded. That undiluted person is freed from all sins. Wow, that's the result of understanding Bhagavad Gita. Because the one who will read Bhagavad Gita, he will understand Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead, he is inborn, he is beginless, he is the supreme lord of all worlds. And then what would happen? He will be freed from all sins. So that's such a great result of reading this Bhagavad Gita. Now I want to discuss this point here. You see this ajam. Ajam means unborn. We just discussed. And you see on my screen, this is text 20 from second chapter. Text 20 from second chapter. It also says, you will have this ajanma here also. You see, Krishna says, na jayate miryate va kadachit nayam bhutva bhavitva na bhuya ajo netya shashvatam yo purano na hanyate hanyamane sharire. So you see, ajo is also here. And what this ajo is referring here? The soul. Now, someone can say, what is this Krishna? You are saying you are ajam. Even this soul, this living entity is also ajam. Which means they are also unborn. So in both ways, yes. In some way, yes, and in other way, it is wrong also. So let us understand this. So Krishna is a supreme person, and the part and parcel are living entity. So Krishna is ajam, living entity is also ajam. But here ajam, the unborn, is taken in material concept. So for example, a living entity takes janma here in the material world. The soul takes birth in the sense that a material covering is given to him. He takes a material body, and the material body grow, then adult, and then old age, and then dead. Correct? And then the soul takes another body, and then another body, and then dead, then another body, then dead, then another body. Like that, it's in the cycle, one body to another body. This transmigration keeps happening. But this is not the case with Krishna. When Krishna comes into this material world, he doesn't need to take any material body. We know when Krishna takes birth in a prison, then he comes as Narayan only. He says, okay, this is what I am. And then immediately he becomes a child. Which means material contamination cannot touch him. Even when he is having nice pastimes in Vrindavan, he is killing Kansa. He is the supreme personality of God in his spiritual body only. He doesn't need to take birth and have a material body to show to appear in this material world. That's why he's saying I am unborn, which means as I am in the spiritual world, I take different forms. I come here also in the material world, but I remain as spiritual only. Material doesn't touch him at all. That's why the unborn is being used here. So why I'm emphasizing this, because some people say that Krishna is like any other person. We also take birth. He also took birth. It's not like that. Krishna is playing in Vrindavan, and then while playing, he will come here and he will start behaving as a normal child. It's like that. Okay. And then one who knows this truth, what would happen? They will be freed from all sins. Okay. Now, because Krishna started talking about sin, then what we would like to understand, are you the origin of all the qualities? If someone is acting, some action person is taking, let's say person is doing some charity, or someone is killing. So all these propensities that come, are you the origin of them also, Krishna? Then Krishna, let's see Krishna says. Krishna says, Buddhi Dhyanam Sammoham Shama Satyam Dama Shama Sukh Dukham Baho Abhavo Bhayam Chabhyam Evacha ahimsa, samta, tushtistapo, danam, yashosha. Yashosha, yash or which means the fame and ill famous both comes from me. Yasho, ayasha. Bhavanti bhava bhutanam matta ev prithak vidha. So he's saying all these qualities, you name it as good or bad. So this good and bad, this good quality, if you say anything good or anything you say bad, this is a material conception actually. That is why we have read about it. Nirdvando. Nirdvando nitya sattvasto niryogchem atman. Nirdvand. So this dvand means two. So good, bad, happiness, distress, all these things are part of this material world. Because there are some rules of living in this material world. With that conception, something becomes good, something becomes bad. So for example, stealing is bad, correct? But in the spiritual world, stealing is not bad because everything is absolute there. Everything is auspicious and good only. So Krishna is stealing the butter. Everyone is saying, wow, this is amazing. Krishna is killing. That is so amazing. There is nothing called bad when it comes to Krishna. But Krishna is the origin of everything. Even that stealing propensity, if someone has, that also is in him because that is there in Krishna also. That is why Krishna is stealing butter in Vrindavan. Krishna also has that stealing propensity. So we can say stealing everything belongs to Krishna, but when it comes, so he wants to grab some item. So that grabbing mentality we also have. But the problem is that becomes stealing in us because we don't, the item doesn't belong to us. But everything belongs to Krishna. So he can grab. So here in this shloka, Krishna is saying, whatever we have, intelligence, knowledge, freedom from doubt and illusion, forgiveness, truthfulness, control of the senses, mind, distress, happiness, he is the origin of everything. Birth, death, fear, fearlessness, non-violence, equanimity, satisfaction. That satisfaction that we get after having food, discussing after discussing this literature, that satisfaction. The austerity, someone is performing nice austerity, waking up at 4 o'clock in the morning, all these austerities, the charity, fame, infamy, everything. See, infamy is a bad word in context to material, but that also is given by Krishna only. So saying all these various qualities of living beings are created by me alone. I am the one who has created them. He is the origin of everything, he's saying. Which means if anyone wants to even achieve any of them, intelligence, knowledge, freedom from doubt, he wants to attain knowledge, and then truthfulness, the control, everything, we all should worship Krishna only. If anyone wants to achieve any of them, they should worship Krishna because he is the creator. If anyone wants fame, he will create fame for him. He is the designer, he will create fame for him also. So like now, okay, but do you create living entity also? Because now Krishna is saying, okay, I create all these qualities, but what about living entities? He says, Maharshaya sapta purve chatvaro manavastatha madbhava mansa jata yesham lokima praja. So he's saying Maharsha sapta. Sapta means 7. He's saying 7 Maharshis. And Purva, even before 7 Maharshis, Chatvaro means 4. 4. Varo means Kumar. I think we discussed about it earlier also. There are 4 Kumaras. They are the sons of Brahma. So their name is Sanak, Sanandan, Sanatan and Sanat Kumar. There are 4 Kumaras. So Krishna is saying that all these 7 rishis, all these 4 Kumaras, Manavastata, they come from my mind. And then what else comes from my mind? Madbhava Manasa Jata. So, Manu, those are the origin of all the Manushya, all the mankind. Yesham Lok Ima Praja, and all the living entities, Praja, all the living entities, everything comes from me. He says the 7 great sages, 7 great sages, Sapta Maharsha, and before them, the 4 other sages, 4 Sanak, Sanandan, Sanatan, and Sanat Kumar, they are talking about 4 Kumaras. And then Manus, the progenitors of mankind, they come from me, born from my mind, and all the living entities, Praja, all the living entities populating the various planets descend from them. So basically, he's saying Krishna is a supreme Lord. His another name is Hiranya Garbha. So from Krishna comes Brahma. From Brahma comes 4 great sages. from and then 4 great sages, and then 7 great sages also. So who are the 4 great sages? Sarak, Sandan, Sanatan, and Sanat Kumar. And then 7, the Saptarishi, they also come from Brahma. And then 14 Manu. So what happens, there are millions and millions of universe, and there are so many living entities live in these universes. So all these universes are filled with different living entities, and all of them come from these Manus. So these are 25 sages. 4 plus 7 plus 14. This becomes 25. So all these 25 sages are actually the patriarchs of all the living entities across all unlimited universes. And who they are all coming from? Brahma. Brahma, who is Brahma? Brahma is Pitamaha. Pitamaha means he is the origin of all of them. But if Brahma is Pitamaha, what is Krishna? Krishna is Pratitamaha, which means he is the father of Pitamaha also. So he is the ultimate origin, and that's what Krishna is saying there, that I am the origin, and from me all of them coming. So if anyone, let's say, is worshipping anyone at this stage, he is worshipping some sage at this stage, he should understand that whoever he is worshipping in his life, actually he should be worshipping the ultimate origin of that sage or that demigod also. If someone is worshipping Brahma or Indra, Rudra, he should understand that they are also coming from Krishna. So instead of worshiping the minister, why don't we worship the prime minister? Now, let's say one has understood it. Then Arjuna might ask, okay, if one has understood it, then what does he do after he knows it? Then Krishna says, Etam vibhutim yogam chamam yoveti tatutaha so avikalpen yogena yujjate natra sanshaya. Krishna says, Etam vibhutim. Vibhutim means the opulence. So Krishna says, first of all, let's understand this. Yoveti tattva. Yoveti tattva means the one who has understood me from tattva. Tattva means the one who has understood me from his intelligence, who is firmly convinced with his intelligence, who is firmly convinced about all my opulences. Etam vibhutim yogam cha mam, about me. He's saying if one is firmly convinced about my vibhutim, about my Aishwarya, about my opulence, then what he does? So avikalpen. So there is no vikalp. Vikalp means option. Do I do this? Do I do this? I worship this. I worship this. No. Avakilpen, which means there is no option for him with any other option. What he does? Yogen yujjate. He worship me. Natra sanchaya. There is no doubt about it. Which means if someone has read Bhagavad Gita with the right authority and is firmly convinced that all these opulences are coming from Krishna, then without keeping any other form of worshipable Lord in his altar, in his puja ghar or deity room, with no other worshipable Lord, he will worship Krishna only. I'm not saying that, Krishna is saying that. Yogena yujjate. Krishna is saying he engages in my unalloyed devotional service, and natra sanchaye. Natra sanchaye. There is no doubt about it. Don't doubt about it. Krishna is so emphasizing. Krishna is so amazing. He is so much emphasizing that one who is convinced, he will worship me only. Avikilpe. There is not vikalpa. Avikilpe. Without any option, he will worship me. Natra sanchaye. There is no doubt about it. So that is the result of knowing that Krishna is the source of everything. That one who will firmly convinced, he will worship Krishna. So that we discussed in the first 7 shlokas. Let's take a 2-minute break. Is there any question so far? Usually Devesh Prabhu asks at least one question, but he's not there. Okay, he's not there today. Okay.
One question here. Can you hear me?
Yes. Your name, please?
Jay. Actually, I'm joined with today. Usually I join and he joins with me today.
Sure.
The question is that all these demigods, they have been given duties to do.
Yes.
And they should do those duties without anybody praying them, right? I mean, they should be, we pray to Ganesha for prosperity and all. We should be getting the prosperity because of the duties from Ganesha, right? I mean, we don't have to pray to him. That's what we should understand from all this, right?
Not exactly, because you see, in 4th chapter, when we were discussing, Krishna is telling how a living entity can be happy. So Krishna is saying that I created demigods, I created living entities of this earth also. So he's saying that they should have mutual exchange, which means the living entity should do havan. See, and with that havan, they will feed demigods. So when we are doing ahuti in yagna, for example, when we are doing ahuti for Indra, so we say
Right.
swaha, swaha. So whatever we are feeding, a banana, mango, apple, anything that we are putting in that agni, that goes to demigods. So they are satisfied. Then what would happen? They will give also what we need. So Krishna is saying that I have made this system that you worship them, which means worshipping them means you actually do. See, there is a difference between puja and bhajan. We discussed that, in the last class also. There is a purpa pastime that we discussed. So in case of Devta, we are doing puja, which means we are giving them food. We are satisfying them, banana, apple, whatever. And then they will also giving us. So this exchange Krishna only has established actually. So they have to do our duty, their duty, we have to do our duty. If we want to get some material benediction from Devta, but here Krishna is saying, I am the origin of Devta also. Why are you reaching out to Devta? You can reach out to me. I will give you material also, and then I will give you spiritual also. Devta cannot give you spiritual. They can only give material.
So basically we can focus on just Krishna and we'll get all. If you are not focusing on Krishna, then you have to go to all the different demigods, right? I mean, should I understand?
Exactly. In fact, Krishna is giving that promise, in the 9th chapter. In the last class, we discussed this pastime of Arjun Krishna. So Arjun Krishna, this sage, when he's read that shloka in the 9th chapter, Krishna is saying, I give my devotees what they lack and I preserve what they have. So he says,
Right.
that pastime, right? And then Krishna Balram, and then he says, no, I'm not getting convinced. So he crossed that line. And Krishna Balram personally comes and give everything, whatever need is there, even lot more than that. And then he says, oh my Lord, I did a big mistake. I was thinking that he does not personally take care. He was actually convinced that Krishna takes care, but he was thinking that probably Krishna appoints some agents to take care of his devotees. But no, Krishna proved that no, I personally take care of my devotees. I give them what they need, what they lack, and I preserve what they have.
Right.
That is why there is one video of His Holiness Tamal Krishna Maharaj. He was preaching in Fiji, and then there was one Sai Baba follower. There's a nice video on YouTube also. So the Sai Baba follower was saying, I have been worshipping Sai Baba for so many years, and there is a lot of debate back and forth, like half an hour debate is there. And Tamal Krishna Maharaj at the end, he says that, okay, how many years you gave to Sai Baba? He says, I actually gave 8 years. And then he says, okay, I'm saying this on record. You just gave 8 months to Krishna, which means you chant 16 rounds, follow 4 regulative principle. And after 4 months, if you will not get convinced that Krishna is taking care of you, Krishna is a supreme person, and if you don't feel love, you come back to me, I will give you $10,000 on record. There's a video. I'm not giving that conviction, that promise that I will give $10,000. I'm not that rich, but at least I can say from my experience being in Krishna consciousness from last 6 years that Krishna has supplied everything materially and spiritually also. He is very merciful.
Thank you. Yeah, no, understood. Very well explained. Thank you.
Thank you, Jagru. Okay, so we'll move to the next section, which is the essence of Bhagavad Gita. And like we discussed, these 4 shlokas, text 8 to text 11, are also known as Chatur Shloki Bhagavad Gita. So very, very important. And before we understand these shlokas, let's understand what these shlokas are having within. So, any relationships that we have in this world, for example, there is a businessman, right? So he wants to achieve some profit out of that business. So he needs to first understand his sambandha from his customer. So once he understand, okay, I am the businessman, and then there is a customer who needs this. Then once he understands that sambandha, then comes to abhideya, means what to do. So if let's say there is a, so you understand, okay, my position is as a businessman, I have to supply, and then these people are my customers, I have to meet their needs. Then what he will do, he will open a shop, and then he will keep the stuff what customer needs, and then he will open the shop right on time, close that right on time, and in between he will have all the transactions with those customers. So that is all abhideya. Sambandh means understanding our position. Abhideya means do what is required in that position. And then prayojan means what do we derive out of it. So as a businessman, what is driving out of it? Profit. Correct? You see, similarly, let's say a man and woman are coming together. So there is sambandha, they get married. There is a husband, there is wife. So that's a relationship both of them are having now. And then what they do, abhideya, which means husband will go office, he will earn money, bring some money from the work, and then the wife also prepare food and everything. And then what they do, they come together, they beget children, and then they derive joy out of that. That is prayojan. Similarly, when it comes to spirituality, then we understand what is our sambandh. Sambandh means I am the eternal servant of Krishna. I am living entity. I am part and parcel. I cannot become God. I am minute part of Krishna. Krishna is unlimited. I am limited. So once we understand that sambandha, that I am eternal servant of Krishna, and my duty is to serve Krishna, then comes the abhideya part. Abhideya means how to serve Krishna. Correct? Which means I will take my bead bag and I'll chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. And then I will discuss about Krishna. So I will do everything as a servant of Krishna, which means I will not take the mastership position, which means I will not say my wife, my children, my laptop, my work, my this, my no. My is gone now. Everything belongs to Krishna only. Which means if I have a wife, I cannot say my wife. I will say this is in care of. You see, devotees on their book also. When I first came into Krishna consciousness, I was reading this book, and the top of this, this devotee has written ICO Subhash. He has written this ICO Subhash, and I was like, what is ICO? You know, usually I have been writing my name Subhash, and this devotee had written ICO Subhash. Like ICO, what is ICO? Then this devotee told me the meaning was in care of. He said, this book is in my care. I said, what is this belongs to you? He said, no, this belongs to Krishna. It is just in my care to take. I'm just a babysitter, but it actually belongs to Krishna only. So that is our position as an eternal servant. We just have to take care of everything that is in our care. So as an employee, I have to take care of my work, but it is not that my life and soul is work. Similarly, all these things that are associated with me, they are only associated to Krishna. Actually, I just have to take care of them. As a nice husband, I have to take care of my wife, children. As a nice citizen, I have to take care of society. And as a prime minister, for example, I remember when Narendra Modi became a prime minister, he's saying minister is Das and prime minister means is prime Das, the main Das. So actually, this is the bhav we have in spirituality also. We are the servant. Krishna is the ultimate master. And whatever position we are in, we serve Krishna, and taking the possessions that are whatever we have in whatever form, they are in our care given by Krishna. So that is our sambandh. Then what is abhideya? Abhideya means in that servant position, we serve them. That's our position, which means we take association of devotees when it comes to spiritual life. So that comes our ABCD principle. And then prayojan means what we will get? We'll get love of God. That is prayojan. That is the result we'll get. Sambandh is the relationship, abhideya is activities, and prayojan is fruit that we drive out of. So we understand, right? From this example of businessman is having a relationship with customer. He understands that relationship. Then he performs some activities. He will build products, manufacture them, sell it to the customers. So all the activities he'll perform. And then what he will get out of that? The fruit, which is the profit. So in our spirituality also, we understand that we are the servant, Krishna is the master. And then ABCD formula means associate with devotees. Then read the literature, book reading. C means chanting, chant Hare Krishna. And D means offer everything to Krishna and accept that as prasadam, diet. And then what we will get? We'll get love of God. Now, these 4 shlokas are actually centered about these 3 things. That's why it is the essence of Bhagavad Gita. Essence of spirituality, every path that we are following, this is the essence, Sambandha, Abhidheya and Prayojan. This is the essence of Bhagavad Gita that we are going to discuss now. So this 8th shloka is actually telling all 3 things, Sambandha, Abhidheya and Prayojan. So let's read it. Krishna is saying, Krishna says, Aham sarvasya prabhavo matta sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajante mam buddha bhav samanvita. Krishna says, Aham sarvasya prabhavo. I am the source of all spiritual and material worlds. Matta sarva pravartate, which means everywhere you see me only, because I am the source of them. Iti matva bhajante mam. The wise who perfectly know this engage in me. So iti matva bhajante mam. Iti matva means those who understand it, bhajante mam, they engage in my devotional service. Buddha bhav samanvita, worship me with all their hearts. Buddha is known for wise. So wise who understands this, what they do, they engage in my devotional service. Bhav samanvita, with their full heart, they engage in my devotional service. So you see, all these Goswamis, we have so many examples. Goswamis were there. They were very learned actually. You see, in middle, we have Rupa Goswami, Sanatan Goswami. They were very learned Brahman. They knew all the literatures and everything. And they were from very rich family also. So they were actually, one was prime minister, another was finance minister of a Nawab Hussain. There was one king. And he was so impressed that he reached out to them and they said, I want to make you ministers in my kingdom. Then they said, no, we are very good as Brahman. We are very happy reading scriptures, distributing this knowledge. Then this Nawab said, boss, if you will not become my ministers, I will kill all these Brahmanas also around you. They said, oh my God, this is so demoniac nature that if we'll not become his minister, then other people will have to suffer because of us. They will be killed. So they said, okay, we'll become minister, no problem. So they became very rich actually because they were holding very great positions, But in that position also, because they were firmly convinced that Krishna is the source of all spiritual material worlds, what they did, they actually engaged in Krishna's devotional service. And then eventually they actually left Nawab Hussain also. They settled in Vrindavan, and on the order of Krishna, they started writing literatures and doing Krishna service there. So Krishna is talking about those wise people, and then I remember we all have experience. There's only one wise student in class. Very few you will see there are wise people to find, because to become wise, you will have to do some hard work. So that is why Krishna is saying that the wise, Buddha, Bhav Samanvita, with all their hearts, what they do? They bhajante ma. They worship me. Because they have understood I am the source. That they will not worship any person in between. Because they know that whoever is in between, living entity in Krishna, they are also coming from Krishna. The demigods, sages, all the material, everything. They will not worship anyone else or anything else. They worship directly Krishna. Then what do they do? Abhidhe, we just discussed Abhidhe. You understood the relationship. So in the previous shloka is talking about Sambandha, which means Krishna is saying, I am the source of spiritual material worlds. So this is Sambandha, that okay, I am coming from Krishna. Then Abhidhe means I engage in the devotional service, and then Prayojan, with full heart, which is the love of Krishna. So it is telling Sambandha, Prayojan. But the next shloka will specifically telling about Abhidhe. Abhidhe means what they do. So Krishna is telling that Macchitta matgat prana bodhayanta parasparam katayantascha mam nityam tushyanti charamanti cha. I love these 4 words. Tushyanti charamanti cha. Krishna says, the thoughts of my pure devotees dwell in me. Their lives are fully devoted to my service, and they derive great satisfaction, tushyanti, and bliss from always enlightening one another and conversing about me. Krishna is saying, Macchittaha. Macchitta means the thoughts. Chit means the thoughts of and matgat prana. So So Krishna is telling two things here. Matchitta, which means the thoughts of my pure devotees dwell in me, which means they keep thinking about me all the time. Matgat prana, their lives are fully devoted to my service, which means they all the time they will keep thinking, oh, Krishna is very beautiful. They will be cooking either in kitchen, they will reading a scripture, or they will be in the temple making garland for Krishna, or something or other related to Krishna. They will be doing that. Bodhyanta parasparam, they discuss among themselves about me, what Krishna is doing, what Krishna is, how beautiful Krishna is. I'm not able to resist myself. Recently, Asit Krishna Maharaj was here. He lives in Vrindavan, Govardhan actually, and then he was here. And I remember he was discussing one pastime of Lord Krishna. And then so many devotees were sitting in his class. And he was so absorbed in narrating that pastime. Every devotee, even 9-year-old child who was listening the lecture, he was also relishing the pastime that Maharaj was speaking about. Everybody was so absorbed in that and laughing and getting emotional. He was telling so many stories. I quickly try to narrate one of them. He was telling that there was one fisherman and he used to every day he will catch a lot of fishes. So it's like a pop he was doing. He was killing so many fishes every day. One time he was going somewhere and he heard from a sage. The sage was giving some class, and a lot of devotees were hearing that class. So he was passing by and he thought, why there is so much crowd? He also sat there. And then the sage was saying that don't kill living entities. It is pap. And you chant Hare Krishna. If you will chant Hare Krishna and you stop doing all these sinful activities, then Krishna will take care of you. Don't worry. Then when he heard it, then he realized, oh, I am doing pap. Wow, I never knew it. What do I do? Then he heard the second statement. The sage was saying, chant Hare Krishna. Krishna will take care of you. Then he said, oh my God, I should be chanting Hare Krishna. Then definitely I will do it. Then he immediately back home and he told his wife and mother, I no more fish catching. I will chant Hare Krishna. They thought, okay, no problem. Probably he will just start saying this for a couple of hours. But then they saw for next day he also did not went for fish catching. Another day like that. He stopped going only. So they started scolding him, saying that, hey, why are you not going? How would we survive? Huh? Somehow or other we managed couple of days. Now you are not doing at all. This is not done. Then he was so fed up with, because his wife, his mother, and they kept saying him something or other. So he went to the ocean, and with very he did not want to do that at all. But then he threw that net and pulled that net back, and then a big fish, very big fish came out. And then he thought that, oh, I think that sage was right. Krishna is trying to take care of me. He's teaching me that I am coming. And because he never got such a big fish. So he thought that this fish is actually Krishna. And no matter I am chanting Hare Krishna, now Krishna has to come. And then somehow or other he got so adamant that, no, Krishna, you come from this fish. I don't know. I will wait. No problem. And then like that, he kept waiting. It was like midnight. And in midnight, a lion came there. Now he developed that habit of chanting Hare Krishna. He was not stopping only at all. Every time he was chanting. He stopped catching fish when he heard that lecture, but he was continuously chanting because that was the other instruction of that sage. No? So he was following both instructions. But in this instruction, what he did, even though he caught the fish, but he was still chanting, continuously chanting. Now it was midnight. He was chanting. And he saw a lion approaching him, a tiger approaching him. And he was like, oh, what to do? Then he started chanting more intensely. It's like, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. And then this tiger slowly approaching. And then the smell of this tiger was very unpleasing. So what he did, he first blocked his nose. He put a finger on his nose and blocked it, because the smell was very irritating, very annoying. So, And he was very fearful also in his heart, so he was continuously chanting. Then he thought of what to do. This tiger will kill me today. And then and as the tiger was approaching him, as he was coming more and more closer, this smell was getting more intense. So he was, even though he closed his eyes also, he closed his eyes, blocked his nose, and then he was like, oh my God. And then he removed the nose and then put, hand on his eyes. So, and then he felt that the nose of the tiger and his nose are touching, which means tiger was so close. Then he was like, but he did not stop chanting at all. And then he immersed so much himself in this chanting that he forgot the thought of his own body. He merged himself completely in the chanting. He thought, okay, I'm not caring about the body. Body anyway belongs to Krishna. If Krishna want to take it through tiger, let him take this body through this tiger. I don't worry. I just chant Hare Krishna and pray Krishna that Krishna, you please come. I will not run from here. I want Krishna, you here right away. So he was so absorbed. And then after a couple of hours, when he came back to his realization, he realized that, oh, he said, okay, I don't feel that smell anymore. He opened the eyes and it was like 5-6 o'clock in the morning. And then he was like, okay, Krishna protected me. Now now my faith is becoming more strong. I will not go from here. Krishna, I want you. Like that, he kept chanting 2, 3, 4 days, 5 days. He continuously kept chanting. And his wife and mother are waiting in his home that he will come back. They were getting worried where he went. And they were thinking probably we chastised him so much that he ran away. And this person was sitting here waiting for Krishna. And then on 6th or 7th day, one Brahman was passing from here. He said, hey, what are you doing here? He said, I'm waiting for Krishna. And he continued chanting. Then this Brahman again asked him, hey, what are you waiting for? Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. Krishna doesn't come like that. You should have some sense. These sages, big sages, they are waiting for Krishna. They do so much austerity. You are becoming just so adamant, just chanting Hare Krishna. What this Hare Krishna will do? Then he was like, oh, you please go away or tell me exactly how Krishna will come. Otherwise, you go away. Then this Brahmana was pleased. And then what he became? He became Krishna. So Krishna actually came in form of Brahmana to take his last test. And that test also he passed. And then Krishna, and as Jagannath, he came in the form of Jagannath and gave him darshan and everything. So what Krishna is telling, devotees, they relish pastime of Krishna. They keep talking about Krishna. Once they know that the thoughts are completely submerged into the discussion in Krishna, and then discuss about it. And what they get out of it, tushyanti cha ramanti cha. Tushyanti means they get great satisfaction. We are serving so many people in this world, we are never satisfied. So many people we have been serving, in offices also we see, boss, yes, we have been serving so many people, never satisfied. But we serve Krishna, we hear about him, even just hearing and discussing about him, tushyanti, we are satisfied. And what happens after that? Ramanti. In fact, we just ramanti, keep thinking about him only. So enlightening, it is so satisfying to the heart that it is very blissful. Ramanti. Ramanti means living in this. They live in those pastimes. So if you bring them back to the material consciousness, it becomes very difficult for them. They don't like it. They want to just live in those pastimes of Krishna. That's what we are discussing here. You see all these pictures I pulled up from different ISKCON Dallas programs. So they actually, devotees go mad. After whom? After Madana Mohan, Madana Mohan, and they go after mad. Let's see, and then how Krishna reciprocates. That is prayojan. Prayojan means what we get when we worship Krishna, and they take so much better. Krishna says, Tesham satata yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam yena mamupayanti. Krishna says, to those who are constantly devoted to serving me with love, priti purvakam means with love, I give the understanding by which they can come to me. So who is constantly chanting Krishna's name, following for regulative principle, hearing, discussing about Krishna, reading about Krishna, then what Krishna does? Krishna says, I will give them the intelligence, they can come to me. And we see in this picture, Krishna gave this intelligence to Dhruva Maharaj also. He sent Narada. Narada gave the knowledge to Dhruva Maharaj how he should worship Krishna, and Dhruva Maharaj did that, and then Krishna came after 6 months. Krishna says, there I am. Prayojan, again, Krishna is telling what he gets. Krishna says, Teshamevanukampartha maham jnanam ajam tama nasham amyatva bhavasto jnana deepena bhasvata. Krishna says to show them special mercy. Special mercy. I dwelling in their heart, destroy with the shining lamp of knowledge the darkness born out of ignorance. Some people might not be familiar with the Sanskrit language, right? Some people might not be even familiar with English language if there are so many lectures you see on the YouTube and all. Some people might not be even access of devotees or knowledge of this. For example, someone who is residing in, let's say, some village, he might not be having internet there, no devotees and nothing. But even if that person is chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, then Krishna within his heart, he will give him the knowledge. The shining lamp of knowledge, Krishna says, the darkness born out of ignorance. What does that mean? If someone is chanting Hare Krishna and Krishna will give him the knowledge, then how he will get that he is getting the knowledge? Knowledge doesn't mean that he should know the meaning of these texts. Knowledge means seeing things as they are. For example, if my eyesight is weak, then I need some glass to see that object perfectly, right? Similarly, to see the events that are happening in our life, we need jnana chakshu. We need knowledge, so we can see them perfectly. You see, a lot of people in this world, they don't have jnana chakshu. That is why they make all temporary arrangements. So okay, you want to eat meat? No problem. We are opening slaughterhouses. Eat meat. They don't have jnana chakshu. They don't know that shastras are condemn the unlimited killing of such heinous crimes. The shastra. So without the jnana chakshu, what happens? All these sinful karmas keeps going on. So let's say someone is doing such crimes which are prohibited in shastras, but that person also starts chanting Hare Krishna. Then Krishna gives him this. Krishna will give him distaste. Distaste of what? Distaste of these illicit activities. Then he himself will leave them. I have my personal experience, and I was in touch with one of my college friends. Last year I got in touch with him again after 10 years passing out college then. So I started talking to him. So recently he was sharing this experience. He was saying that I used to get so worried about my job that I will leave it. I will be fired someday. So I used to work very hard. But nowadays, after chanting Hare Krishna, not only I'm able to do my work perfectly because I know that I have to take care of my work, but I also don't get so much disturbed about it because I understood that these things are temporary. So Krishna is giving me one job, he'll give me another job also, but whatever work he is giving, I will have to do it nicely. Now he is not getting time to read literature, but he is chanting 16 rounds every day. So I was enjoying when I heard it. I was actually relishing this message of Krishna saying, I give them the lamp of knowledge. I give them the knowledge that all these things are temporary. What are you worrying about them? You do your duty as far as you are, for as long as you are there in the material world. Take care of the things that I have given you. But all these things are temporary, so don't worry about them. Krishna gives them that knowledge and the conviction also. And why he do that? He does that to show his special mercy. So we covered these two parts. I took some time on essence of Bhagavad Gita because this was the essence anyway. So let's move on to the third part. So tell me more. Krishna is saying, you see, until 9th chapter, Arjuna is only asking questions, what, how. But here, when Krishna started telling about him, that I am the source of everything, even great demigods, sages, they don't know me. My devotees know me, and whoever knows me, they actually engage in my devotional service. Then Arjuna got really excited, Until 9th chapter, he was only asking about what, how, but now he's telling more. He is saying more also. See, why he is telling more? So here you see on my screen, this is the detail is the symptom of love. When you love someone, you want to know more about him. Correct? Anything or anyone you see in this world, if you get to know a little more detail, you say, oh, tell me more. Oh, what more? And then, so when you love or like something, someone, you express, that makes the whole experience sweeter, both for you and others. You want to know more and more and more and more. The other reason why Arjuna is asking, because tomorrow someone might say that, oh, he was anyway his friend. But how, if other living entities, they also want to love Krishna, they would also like to know more about Krishna. So they will love more, you know. So he's asking this thing for common people so that everyone can hear about Krishna's opulence. He is asking for the devotees, those are already devotee of Krishna. When they will hear know more about Krishna, then they will relish all these sweet qualities of Krishna. And for personal absorption also, he's asking. Let's see what he says. He says, so Arjuna Uvacha, Param Brahma Param Dham Pavitram Paramam Bhavan Purusham Shashvatam Divyam Madideva Ajamam Vibhum Ahastva Mrisha Sarve Devarshi Nardastatha Asito Devalo Vyasa Swam Cheva Brahmarshi. So he's saying Param Brahma. So we are Brahma, we are part and parcel, but Krishna is Param Brahma. He is Param Brahma. He is the supreme being. Param Dham, Pavitram Paramam Bhavan. Bhavan means you. So you are Param Pavitra. Purusham Shashvatam, you are Anadi, you are eternal. And then Divyam Adi Dev Ajam. Ajam means unborn. You are unborn. Vibhum Ahastva Mrisha Sarve Devarshi Naradas. You see, if someone will say, oh, anyway, Krishna was friend of Arjuna, that's why he just said it. Okay, you are super. Sometime in friendship also we say, oh boss, you are amazing, huh? You took a best shot. Sometimes, in friendship we say so many things. So some people in future might say, oh, Arjuna said this because of his friendship with Krishna. But no, he's saying Devarshi Naras Tatha, and he's giving more people. He's giving the proof of more people. He's saying Devarshi Narad, Asita, Devala, Vyasa. He's saying all these people actually told me about you, that you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And now Swam Che Brahmarshime, now you yourself also telling. He's saying you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the ultimate abode, the purest, the absolute truth. You are eternal, you are transcendental, the original person, the unborn, the greatest. He's saying you are everything. And that he's saying it's not because of friendship I'm telling you this. All these great sages, Narad, Asital, Deval, Vyas, all these actually, they confirm this truth about you. And now you yourself are declaring this to me. That is Krishna. Now he got really excited. He's saying, Sarvam itadritam manye yanman vadashikeshava nahite bhagavan vyaktim vidur dev na de danava. He's saying deva danava. He's saying they can't understand you. Even demigod, demon. He's saying, oh Krishna, I totally accept you. Accept as truth all that you have told me. Whatever you told me, I accept you. And neither the demigods nor the demons, both of them cannot understand your personality. So he's saying demigods, which means you take the most pious person, Brahma, and you take the most demonic person, let's say Hiranyakashipu, most sinful person, most pious person. No one can understand your personality. Then who knows? He said only you knows. Only you knows your personality. No one knows, which means you are above this material world. See, this pious and impious, this papa punya is a part of this material world. That's why I'm saying you take the most pious person, you take most sinful person. In this material manifestation, no one knows. And then he tells further, he says, Swamevatmanatmanam vet tvam purushottama bhut bhavan bhutesh deva dev jagatpate. He says, indeed, you alone know. He says, this most sinful person you take, most pious person you take, no one knows. They are all part of material manifestation. Then who knows? You alone know yourself by your own internal potency. O Supreme Person, origin of all, Lord of all beings, God of gods, Lord of the universe. He's actually addressing Krishna in so many words. This is so amazing, You see in this picture, many of you must have heard this past time. One time, Brahma goes to meet Krishna in Dwarka, and this Dwarpal, the gatekeeper, holds Brahma and says, okay, give me 1 minute. Let me ask Krishna if you can be allowed, if Krishna is busy or not. He goes to Krishna, he says, Brahma is here. Krishna says, which Brahma is here? Then the gatekeeper comes back, he tells Brahma that Krishna is asking which Brahma is here. Brahma is like, what do you mean, which Brahma? I am only one Brahma in this universe. What are you saying? And he got confused. He was thinking that he is the alone one person that is reporting to Krishna. He doesn't know that there are other reportees also under Krishna. There are so many Brahmas that are reporting to. He was not knowing. So he please tell Krishna that I am his son. I have 3 heads and everything. So he please tell Krishna. So gatekeeper goes back. He tells Krishna that he is having 3 heads. He is telling he's your son only. Krishna says, okay, bring him in. So Brahma comes in. You see in this picture, Brahma is standing right here. So he comes here, and then Krishna says, okay, tell me, how can I help you? Then Brahma says, my dear master, I came with some purpose, but before I tell you my purpose, I want to ask you something. Krishna says, yes, please, how can I help you? Brahma says, please tell me if there is any other Brahma also, because you were asking that which Brahma, so I'm not sure what is happening. Please tell me. Krishna says, oh, sure. Then Krishna, what happens? Krishna immediately closes his eyes and he meditates. And all these people you see in this picture, this Brahma, this is also Brahma, this is also Brahma. So millions and millions of Brahmas come in front of our Brahma, the 3-headed Brahma. And then this Brahma gets bewildered. He was like, oh my God, I see Brahma with millions of head also. So all these Brahma, they come in front and they are not able to see our Brahma. Our Brahma is able to see all the Brahmas. So, and they are not able to see even each other also. They are thinking that only we are here in front of Krishna. So all of them in one go, they ask, oh, our Lord, you called us, how can we serve you? Then Krishna says, no, I just called you to know if everything is going fine. They said, yes, by your mercy, by your order, by your will, everything is working fine. So we are happy. Krishna says, okay, that's all, you can go. And then all of them disappear from there. And our Brahma is standing there, mesmerized, astonished, surprised, and everything, And then he was like, okay, Krishna, I really never knew this opulence. And that's what Arjuna is also speaking here, that you alone know yourself by your own majesty. We are minute part and parcel of yours. What do we know about you? Even even Brahma doesn't know about you. And then he requests further. He says, Vaktum arhasi asesena divya hi atma vibhutaya yavir vibhuti virlokan imastam vipapyatishtati. He says, please tell me in detail of your divine opulence by which you pervade all these 3 words. He says, Katham vidyamem yogin stvam sada parichintayan keshu cha bhaveshu chintyo asi bhavan maya. He says, oh Krishna, oh Supreme Mystic, how shall I constantly think of you? How shall I know you? In what various forms are you to be remembered, or Supreme Personality? So he's getting really, really excited to know more about Krishna. He's saying, oh Janardhan, again, please describe in detail the mystic power of your opulence. I am never satiated in hearing about you. See, Krishna is unlimited. So his pastimes are also unlimited. We hear one pastime, as we are discussing one pastime, so many pastimes are still taking place. So which means there is no end to his pastimes. So when we hear as much we hear about Krishna's pastimes, we are never satiated, which means we want to hear more. There is one king, he was great devotee of the Lord. When Lord took him darshan, and Lord says, I want to give you some benediction. Please ask me. Then this king was saying, the devotee of the Lord, he was saying, oh Krishna, do me a favor. Please give me 10,000 years. It's not years I'm saying he was requesting years. Give me 10,000 years. You think, why? What do you want? Why do you want all that? He said, and give me the capability also. So at one go, at like one time, I can hear your 10,000 pastimes also. Because I relish hearing about you so much that these 2 years that I have, they are not enough. You give me 10,000 years, so I can keep hearing about you. So this is the taste, the nectar that devotees derive, and that's the same taste that Arjuna wanted to have, and that's why he is saying, please tell me more. And then Sri Bhagavan says, Hantate kathayashyami divya hayatma vibhutaya pradhanyata kurushreshta nasti anto vistarasya me. Supreme Personality of Godhead says, yes, I will tell you of my splendorous manifestations, but only of those which are prominent, Arjuna, for my opulences are limitless. See, this is very difficult for Krishna to see. So unlimited universes are there in this material manifesto. Krishna, you see, Krishna is the origin of material many universes and spiritual universes. Both are unlimited. You see, even there are millions and millions unlimited material universes. There are unlimited universe here also. So how would Krishna explain all of them? Krishna is saying, let me explain you the prominent ones, because I cannot tell you all my opinions, they are limitless. And that's where now Krishna will start the fourth section of our discussion today. So this is a 20th shloka of this chapter. Let me take 2 minutes break. Is there any questions so far? Okay. Okay, so amazing. Krishna is going to tell about himself more. Krishna is saying, Aham Atma Gunakesha Sarvabhutasya Sistitha Ahmadishcha Madhyam Cha Bhutanatmanta Evacha. Krishna says, I am the super soul. O Arjuna, seated in the hearts of all living entities. I am the beginning, the middle, and end of all beings. Which means the same, you know. Krishna is saying that if I'm saying I am the origin, it doesn't mean I'm just sitting in my own abode and creating all these living entities. I actually personally residing with all the living entities also, which means how compassionate he is. So you see in this picture, here he is Krishna, and as super soul, he goes in the heart of everyone, even in dog, even a sinful person also. Every soul, you know, he as super soul, he sits along with the super soul, along with the super soul. And as a super soul, he keeps watching the activities of soul and patiently waiting. The super soul, Krishna as super soul in our heart, patiently keeps waiting for the soul to look towards him. So there is an analogy that comes in Bhagavatam. Bhagavatam says, like there is a tree and there are two birds are sitting on the tree. So one bird is busy in eating the fruits of the tree, and another bird is continuously looking at the other bird. So bird one is busy in eating the fruits of the tree, and bird two is continuously looking at what? Bird one. So that bird one is what? Living entity. Living entity is busy in the fruits of this body. Is enjoying the fruits of this body only, whatever mellow it can drive. And that bird two is super soul, Krishna, continuously looking at the soul, bird one, living entity, that when this bird one will look at me, which means when living entity will look towards it, me, because they doesn't know even the fruits that they're trying to enjoy, they are coming from me. So the day they will look towards me, I can at least give them what is actually required for them. That I can give them eternal fruit also. But what I'm waiting for, their own free will. Because someone might say, oh, if you can give them, why are you waiting? Why are you waiting for soul to look towards you? See, Krishna is not very is adamant God that, okay, you worship me, me, me. He is just saying, okay, you can worship me as for our own benefit. But he is still keeping us our free will. It's not like a headmaster, you do this only. But he's saying, if you will do this, it will be in your benefit. So he, as a super soul, he's continuously looking at the soul, but never interrupting in soul's free will. He's continuously waiting that, okay, one day this soul out of his free will stop eating the fruit of this tree and will look towards me and then say, Krishna, I am yours. In this word, my game is over. Now I am handing over myself to you. And then Krishna says, okay, I'm accepting you as my own child. I have already been accepting you, but now because you are surrendering, I will take care of your sin also. Saradharman paritachya, mamekam sharnam praja. Aham tam sarvabhebhyo Mokshishyami masuch. Aham toham sarva papebhyo. I'll take care of your sin also. Then Krishna says further, Aditya namaham Vishnu Jyotrisham Ravi Ranshuman Marichir Marutam Asmi Nakshatrana Mahashashi. He says, of the Adityas, I am Vishnu. Of the lights, I am radiant sun. Of the Marut, I am the Marichi. And among the stars, I am moon. Actually, Krishna will give lot of analogies, and then ahead of them, Krishna will tell, I am this head. So like that, we'll keep reading. I'll not recite the shlokas. We are left with 5 minutes. Then he says, of the Vedas. So he's saying, if you know the Vedas, then I am Samved. Of the demigods, if you know demigods, I am Indra. If you know, he says, if you know senses, I am mind. See, in all our senses, mind is the prime sense that drives all our senses. That's why he's saying, of all the senses, I am the mind. And in the living beings, I am the living force. See, because of that consciousness, we are living. As soon as, see, consciousness is the symptom of soul. So soul leaves, consciousness leaves, and the body is dead, right? So he's saying, so if you know the living beings, I am the living force in the living beings. I am the consciousness. Then he further says, of all the Rudras, I am Lord Shiva. Of the Yakshas and Rakshasas, I am Lord of Wealth. I am Kubera. Of the Vasus, I am fire. I am Agni. And of the mountains, I am Meru. So Krishna is actually gonna give 20 analogies like this. Of priest or Arjuna, know me to be the chief Brahaspati. Of generals, I am Kartike. Of the bodies of water, I am ocean. If you know water, you consider me ocean. Krishna is giving a lot of. He's saying, of the great sages, I am Bhragu. Of vibrations, I am the transcendental Om. Of sacrifices, I am the chanting of the holy name. And of immovable things, I am Himalayas. And he says, of the great sages, I am Bhragu. Of vibrations, I am transcendental. Okay. So Krishna is giving 20 shlokas, but I thought I will discuss this slide because it has like summary. So you can keep that as homework to go through all the shlokas where Krishna is giving different analogy about himself. So from 20 to 42, you see here Krishna is saying, I am mind, I am life force. If you know water, I am ocean. If you know animals, I am lion. If you know devotees, you consider me Prahlad. If you know sages, you consider me Narmani. If you know chanting, you consider that name is me. If you know rivers, I am Ganges. If you know meditation, I am that silence that gives peace. If you know fear, then I am that death. And if you know spirituality, that I am that spiritual science. Krishna is saying. Krishna is the essence of all things that he mentioned. So basically, why Krishna is giving so many examples? Because if anyone knows anything, then he should understand that thing. The master of that thing is also Krishna. That is why Krishna is giving so many examples. And after this, Krishna says, Nastosmi mama divyana vibhutinam parantapa eshatudeshata panokta vibhuter vistaro maya. He says, O mighty conqueror of enemies, there is no end to my divine manifestations. What I have spoken to you is but a mere indication of my infinite opulence. That is why, when before describing this also Krishna said that my opulence is limitless, but let me tell you a little spark of that. And Krishna gave so many examples. And then again, Krishna is saying, actually, my opulence is infinite. To what extent I should tell you? See, sometimes we might think that, okay, some people will read it and then they'll say, oh, Krishna is telling so much about him that, my opulence is infinite. See, if a small child is asking a prime minister, how much area you cover? And tell me about all the areas. It will be difficult for prime minister, right? Prime minister of a country is taking care of whole country. If a child is going to inquire from prime minister, what all areas, tell me very explicitly about each area, very difficult for a prime minister. So he will have to say, hey, how much I have to tell you? So like that, Krishna is the master of unlimited millions and millions of universe, spiritual material. To what extent he will tell to a conditioned living entity what is his position? That is why he's genuinely telling that my opulence is infinite. To what extent I should tell you? And you see so many people like Duryodhana in this world, they don't accept Krishna as the supreme person. Like Duryodhana, when Krishna went to as a peace messenger, and Duryodhana did not accept his advice to give at least 5 villages to Pandava. So Duryodhana said that catch this cowherd boy. This person was thinking that Krishna is a simple cowherd boy. Why? Because he was having a material conception about Krishna, that Krishna is having a body, the material body. But Krishna is all transcendental. There is no material contamination attached to Krishna. So that's why Krishna, showed him his rupa, and that was very fearful for those who are demons, and that was very relishing for those who are devotees. And here comes the last shloka of this. Yad yad vibhuti matsattam Shri. Hare Krishna, there's a question. Sorry. Okay. Yad yad vibhuti matsattam Shri Madar Jitmeva va tat deva gachatvam mam tejo ashsambhavam. Know that all opulent, beautiful and glorious creations spring from but a spark of my splendor. So you see all the beautiful things. This is a long weekend. If we go out anywhere, you see in this picture, anywhere we see any beautiful things, we should remember Krishna. See, bhakti is so easy. We can anytime we stay Krishna conscious. Any beautiful things, any beautiful even people we see, this beauty is coming from Krishna. If the spark of the beauty of Krishna is there in the nature, is there in the living beings, you see how beautiful Krishna will be. So wherever we go on this long weekend and we see beauty, or in our day-to-day life, we should remember Krishna. That's what Krishna is also telling. All opulent, all beautiful things, all glorious things, these are all they're just a spark of Krishna's splendor. Okay, so sorry, this is the last one. Krishna is saying, Atva bahudeten kim gyaten tava Arjuna Vishtabhya hamidam kirtasn ame kanshen stito jagat. Krishna is saying, but what need is there, Arjuna, for all this detailed knowledge? He's saying, why I'm telling you all this detailed knowledge? Let me tell you in a single statement. He's saying, with a single fragment of myself, I pervade and support this entire universe. He's saying that I am telling you so many details, but let me tell you a single statement. Krit istanmev kanshena. Ansha, which means a single fragment of my istito jagata. A single fragment of my, I pervade and support this entire universe. That's it. Game over. So this is the summary of chapter 10. This is a very amazing chapter of Bhagavad Gita, which is very relishing to the heart of the devotees. And here we discuss these 4 sections: source of everything, essence of Bhagavad Gita, and then Arjuna got excited. He wanted to know more about Krishna, and then we understood that Krishna is the Krishna. We can see Krishna. We can see Krishna everywhere. So very thankful of all of you for your time and attention. If there is any question, we can discuss for a couple of more minutes. Anand Prabhu, are you missing? Oh, you're there. Okay. Okay. So we stop now. Yes, Niyamata, is there a question? Okay. So we'll stop now. Very thankful to all of you once again. See you next week. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.